They laughed at the wing tattoo on her wrist, until the seal. Commander walked in and saluted her. The airfield cafeteria buzzed with chatter as recruits gathered for lunch. At the far end of the room, a young woman sat alone, quietly sipping coffee. Her flight jacket was plain, her boots scuffed, and her demeanor unassuming. But what caught everyone's eye was the small tattoo on her wrist. A simple set of wings inked in black. A group of loud recruits from another table noticed it. One smirked and leaned over. "Nice tattoo. Trying to look like a pilot or something?" Another chuckled. "Yeah. Maybe she thinks she earned her wings." Their laughter echoed across the room. She didn't respond. She just smiled faintly, turned her wrist over, and went back to her coffee. They didn't know that tattoo wasn't decoration. It was a symbol few in the military ever earned. Moments later, the cafeteria doors opened. A man in full Navy SEAL uniform stepped in. Commander Briggs, a legend among operators. The room fell quiet as he scanned the crowd. Every recruit straightened up, except the woman with the tattoo, who calmly looked up and nodded. Then, to everyone's shock, Commander Briggs walked straight toward her table. The recruits froze. Briggs stopped in front of her, his eyes softening. "Ma'am," he said, voice firm but respectful. Then he did something no one expected. He snapped to attention and saluted her. Gasps rippled through the cafeteria. The recruits who had laughed stared in disbelief. "What's going on?" one whispered. Briggs lowered his salute and said, "Good to see you again, Major Carter." The name hit like thunder. Major Evelyn Carter, the test pilot who had saved a SEAL, extraction team 2 years earlier when their helicopter went down behind enemy lines. She wasn't just a pilot, but she was the pilot who had flown an unarmed aircraft through anti-air fire to extract 12 wounded SEALs, including Commander Briggs himself. Her tattoo? Those weren't vanity wings. It was the mark given only to members of the classified Shadow Wing program, elite pilots, who flew covert rescue missions no one ever publicly acknowledged. One of the recruits, red-faced, stammered, "We didn't know, ma'am." Carter finally looked at them, eyes steady but kind. "You never know who you're talking to," she said. "So before you laugh at a tattoo, make sure it isn't earned in blood." Briggs smiled faintly. "She doesn't brag, gentlemen. But when every SEAL on the ground thought it was over, those wings were the last thing we saw, right before she pulled us out." Silence filled the room. The recruits who had mocked her now stood at attention, faces pale with shame. Carter stood, zipped up her jacket, and gave Briggs a respectful nod. "Good to see you still keeping them in line, Commander." He chuckled. "Trying my best, ma'am." As she walked out, the recruits caught one last glimpse of the tattoo. Simple, black and powerful. The room stayed quiet for a long time.